Welcome to Babel's Park, an autobiographical dystopia of a brainless cyber whore. You're listening to Chapter 5, Build Me a Woman.
I had already made myself comfortable in Jack's office when he came in.
Women who come before me are rare.
Hello, my dear. I was told I could wait here. Jack had put on some silly music to drown out the visitor noise or to calm his nerves. I was sitting at his desk with my legs resting on it. Jack opened the window, which made the posters of Metropolis, Victor Victoria, and Jurassic Park flutter until the door slammed shut.
Drafty as a shack, but a hot prospect, just like you.
Thanks. I still needed some distance. The last time I saw him, he was a freaky drag queen. Do you have something to drink here?
Just herbal tea.
Are you sick?
Only an insignificant digestive disorder.
So you've managed to make your childhood dreams come true. I looked out the window at the park grounds. In the middle of the recession, you opened an amusement park. Or is it a beautiful laundrette?
Everything is pretty clean this time. There are still a few problems with the nips, but I have everything under control.
But with strings attached, I added, referring also to the wooden cross of a Pinocchio doll that Jack took from his desk and directed between my legs.
Do you know that joke where Snow White is running horny through the woods looking for a fella?
Pine-Eye dropped to his wooden knees with a double click. I shook my head and opened my legs.
She meets Pinocchio, jumps full in his face, and yells, "Lie to me."
Before Pinocchio could stick his nose in my lap, I held it with my fist. I could understand Snow White. Why didn't you lend your craftsmanship as a puppet maker to the art of theater?
Everything had been cleared and settled by the Treuhand, the trust agency which privatized the East German companies. I wanted to make larger dolls that are no longer attached with long threads. But controlling such a large pendulum becomes difficult. Plus, I was underpaid and could never get rid of my surgery debt.
Jack left the doll to me, so I didn't notice that he took his smartphone and checked some surveillance cameras until he saw David and baby Lon. He asked,
"How's David?"
I assume he's playing some slot machines.
How right you are. Do you want to say hello to him?
I don't want to bother him, I said. First and foremost, I wanted to know what had happened to Jack over the last few years. Then he reeled off a success scenario in his usual way, but something wasn't right. He had to be in severe distress. How's your heart?
It's okay as long as I don't breathe or laugh.
He said with a grin. And during sex?
That's a problem, but I'm working on it. What about your consumption of men?
They come. And go. Here's looking at you, kid. He sighed.
Through the past, darkly. Do you want to kill me? A weekend Jack neat? How about something new and different instead, like a personally programmed cyborg?
Jack attached a chain to the door. Good old mechanics at the high-tech center. He always had a heightened need for security. Are you trying to create an erotic atmosphere? Is Victoria a cyborg? Kind of Gesamtkunstwerk with true feelings?
I'm still working on the emotions.
Did you build a dream woman just because relationships with humans are too complicated?
I don't know which is more complicated, but maybe I'm animated by the fear of loneliness. I think you're better off.
If you're frightened of loneliness, never get married, I said, quoting the character of Stanley Pilborough, played by Ian Holm in David Hare's Weatherby, one of my favorite films, with Vanessa Redgrave and Judi Dench. I changed the subject again and asked, have you realized any more dreams like that here?
All the personnel is digitized, so they are easy to maintain and there are no problems with the unions. But even more important is to create trust among visitors and explain to them that these are not threatening androids, but social beings that help. To that end, these machines need intelligence. To boost sales, the staff must be accepted.
And how do you achieve that?
Quite simply, to have an intelligent machine, you need one that is social and has a social context. One that acts outside of socialization is unintelligent.
Do you mean intelligence arises from the mere fact that it is attributed to such a device?
Exactly. But there's more. A cyborg must have its own character and the feeling of being in a bad mood or in love and expressing happiness. Only then can you interact with it.
And should be readily available at your fingertips. I thought of Victoria.
When this partner is constantly available, it enables more than reality. It is the fulfillment of an ultimate dream, like being able to fly.
If you can turn them on and off, they'll never be more than a toy, I said, though not finding the idea any less intriguing.
It's still a challenge to create something you're surprised by, an artificial character who exceeds her program because she optimizes it herself. Once it starts to live, it's a moral question to turn it off.
Your idea?
No, Bob's. But what interests me more is the process of creating something completely perfect. Only when you understand the machine, its mechanics, can you start to make it sexy and provide women with female eroticism, men with male arousal. In that sense, I build therapeutic devices.
You mean those who can't walk properly need a crutch, and those who can't love properly need a cyberwoman? I lit a cigarette. How do you construct such a being?
It begins with the coding of the movement. A wireframe model is covered with skin because it is only skin that provides laughter, erotic expression, and personality. Lipstick and makeup are applied to the surface. This is how humanity is gradually created, eroticism as a learning process, so to speak. Finally, the perfect hair and clothes are added.
Jack, the puppeteer, was getting into his stride, an acute bout of logorrhea imminent. I asked, isn't your oral incontinence detrimental to your health? Anyway, that's necrophilic.
Nonsense, it's communicative and incestuous. Your creature falls in love with you and vice versa. Computers used to be unable to say anything about themselves, now they can, so now you can love them.
I didn't think of it that way, I admitted, blowing pretty perfect smoke rings into the air. But it remains unnatural to me.
We deal with artificial products every day. Bleached hair, contact lenses, Botox, dentures, pacemakers, silicone breasts, artificial hips, your vibrator. Does that make us artificial?
The skin rots, the tits remain in the coffin, only bones and silicone.
Something like that.
You mean putting on makeup, coloring your hair, or filing your teeth, as some naturals do, is not natural but communicative.
Exactly, but there is more. Throughout history, men have created women from their dreams. But women have such fantasies, too.
Jack looked at me challengingly.
The question most women still ask is, what sexual experience am I looking for? The perfect lover knows everything I want, what makes me horny. The fucking truth is that women are looking after their orgasm, the essence, someone finger licking good while men could be screwing a sheep or their vacuum cleaner.
It sounded like Jack had evolved from a female impersonator to a combat dyke. But now he was quoting Camille Paglia.
Leaving sex to the feminists is like letting your dog vacation at the taxidermist.
I think in cyberspace you can masturbate in a sophisticated way. But isn't a fetish, like a shoe, more effective? I thought of Jack's first sexual experience.
Small objects for projecting pleasure are nothing compared to the possibilities that open up here. Masturbation is fine until you can establish a relationship with a neurotic woman. She meets and exceeds all expectations. That's why she is glorified like a dream car that you want to own, that is, fuck.
The cyber woman as a sacrificial altar.
Exactly. The customers want mama as a whore, as a kind of bargain goddess in whose cathedral they sacrifice.
Aren't you afraid you'll miss the consequences?
This is about money, which is real, even if virtual payments are made into the collection bag of the net. Everything else is simply clicked away.
I thought more of the initiator's concerns than those of the users, but Jack continued undeterred.
Your reservations apply rather to genetic engineering, whereby you still accuse them of being able to do something already today that is to remain God's creation. Therefore the argument, something is manipulated, which comes from the creation, which nobody understands. Here it is exactly the other way around. We anthropomorphize machines.
There they were again, Jack's identity creating private myths and delusions of grandeur.
I'll see you later at the beauty farm, my doll workshop. Shall we say 3:30? I'll show you around then. Until then I have to work a bit. Give my regards to David.
I will. Ciao, Jack. Our verbal clash was over.
You listen to the 5th chapter of Babel's Park. In the next chapter, Anal Oral Digital, David is seduced by Baby Lon, who extracts genetic information from his bodily fluids. Listen to the ad-free version on Apple Podcasts now. To learn more about Babel's Park, visit Dr. Kala Sana's website fuckup.coach. And to let us know what you think of this series, we look forward to your review on your favorite podcast platform. Thank you.